Well, hello again, guys, and welcome to another Prefect 99 live stream. Thank you for watching. If you are watching, please say hi in the chat. And I just want to check subscribers because I think we had one new one, so I'll say thank you. I thought I'd just get the stream running before I was quite ready, just so you could see it's relatively busy here at Dublin. Just so you could see what was going on. I think I need to figure out how to get a counter counting down. Richard Greach, I think, may have been the last subscriber. So thanks to you for joining. Anyway, here we are at Dublin, stand 122. There's been a lot of company traffic around us. There's some rebels down the other end that you can just see taxiing away in the distance there. And I don't know if you can notice, but the camera is swaying about in the wind. It's pretty windy today, certainly here in Dublin, and it's windy in the southeast of England as well. It's windy all over the British Isles. So we'll head from the one of Ryanair's biggest bases back to one of the other biggest bases as well. So with that in mind, we could just hop straight in and we'll be on our way. So absolutely nothing done apart from get a few of the switches how I like them. Let's see, how's the frame rate doing? Not great. And there we go, I'll get rid of the branding. So, as always, quick and dirty startup. Battery can come on. Standby can come on. Lights ready for position to steady for AC power. And there we go, ground power on. Start the irises aligning. Nine minutes, because we're that far north. Big difference. Put the damper on so you don't forget it later. Entity, howdy, good to see you, my friend. Everything to normal. I'm not going to bother checking the crossfeed. All the lights are off. Power, we've got cabin utility on. Panel lights set up. Belts and chimes off. Igniters right. Diff pressure 0. Hydraulic pumps could come on. Test the window heats. Pop them on. Set the trim air. And then in reality that's roughly where they end up being set. Packs can come on, ISOs, auto, APUs off, and let's open up the OFP. There's our cruise today, 350. And Stansted is 350. There we go, that's the overhead initial done. David, hello, good to see you. I'm not sure if I've seen you on here before. Anyway, thanks for joining if you are new. And if I have seen you before, I'm sorry I don't remember. So, we know the departures out of Dublin are 9,000, so I'm going to set 9,100. We will set everything else, courses, speeds. That's just to remind us that we've not been cleared. And we have got ATC online today. Order brakes to RTO, test and disarmed. Hydraulic pressure you can see we've got. And what have we got fuel wise? 1780 times 2 is going to give us 3560. We'll have a look at block fuel in a minute. Config check. What I'm going to do is pop the ATIS 124525. I'll have a listen to that in a minute. Rest of the audio panel is fine, which will set up ready for departure shortly. And we can pop the parking brake on, as we've now got power. And that is our initial setup. I'm going to pop the payload and takeoff performance on there. Ready. approach rating. Haven't seen this before. I love it. Love the little icons. So we will certainly have a look at that in a minute. But what I am going to do is get the weather, which we can't hear. Great. Four 525. It's a shame. Let's see if we can hear tower.
UPS 218 slow frequency.
So we can hear. Sadly, I'm just going to grab the ATIS and I'll read it out to you guys. So I've just right-clicked on it on Xpilot and it will bring up the ATIS. Because obviously we can get the weather through the ACARS. Oh, wrong window. But that's no use because when we've got ATIS online we need the information letter. So, Dublin Information Juliet. At time 14:30 Zulu. Runway 28. And the ILS is in use. Transition level is 65. Wind is 250 degrees, 18 knots. Gusts 32. Variable between 210 and 280 degrees. So the average being 250, but it's swinging around, backing to 210 and veering to 280 during those gusts. 10k. Light showers of rain, clouds scattered, 2,200, broken 5,000 feet, temperature 14, dew point 8, and I'm reading this very slowly because I'm writing it down at the same time. It's not because I can't read. QNH 1006, and that's it. So let's set 1006. There we go. So at least we've got the weather. We know it's 2.8. We'll set the MCP up and everything in a minute. So let's get back on to the OFP and let's get the airplane loaded up. Now we're relatively light, 138 packs, so I'm going to clear the front row this time. So 138p, and I'm going to add 5 to all of these. So 36, 32, 36, 34, and 0. And that should allow us to pop our 2.2, no, 2,200 into the front, giving us a 0 fuel weight. It's still quite far forward, isn't it? Whatever. It's not the end of the world for us. As we add some fuel, that'll start to bring it back. And it's only really for fuel efficiency. Anyway, as you can see, I've got 15-minute extra just because of the weather. Our alternate is Schiphol. However, of course, if we were flying into Stansted, there's a couple of other options. If we can't get in for whatever, the weather's not severe enough for, I think, potentially a weather diversion. But if we did get low just because we make a hash of the approach a couple of times, then we could certainly divert to Gatwick or any of the other London airports. Rather than going all the way to Schiphol. From an operational perspective, it would be a bit of a pain to get all the packs back, whereas somewhere like Gatwick, Heathrow probably not Luton, because Luton's going to be worse than Stansted. Those would be certainly more viable options than having to go across the water. So we've got 15 minutes additional, and so we've got a block fuel of 5704, which is what I'm going to request. Get that loaded up now. So we don't forget. Right. That in mind, I think we can start loading up the packs. And we can jump into setting up the FMC. So the IRSs are aligned in the 9 minutes it's taken me to talk to you. We are at Echo India Delta Whiskey. We're on stand 123. No, I tell a lie, we're on stand 122. GPS left can go into the IRS position. And by magic, the displays come alive. And we're off to Echo Golf Sierra Sierra. We are Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray today. And I am going to load up the saved route, which puts in exactly what we've got here. For those of you that haven't seen this before, there is the route. We could type all of this in, or you can just export it. Waypoints go on the right, airways go on the left. LIFFY is our first waypoint, Quebec 36 to NOSLO, Zulu 197 to LISTO, so you still need to check it, and then the arrival and departure you add afterwards. You don't add them on this page. We can make a gross error check of the distance 264. 272, okay, the arrivals and departures are going to add some distance onto that, so that is sensible. It's, you know, it's not 5 times as far, and it's not half as far. It's within a reasonable expectation, so there's no massive error. We can activate that, and then we can have a look at our zero fuel weight. 56.2 adds up perfectly because I've synced the weights in SimBrief and with Zibo, and you can see the fuel increasing there. We're almost fully fueled, so we get up to 5.7. Trip and taxi 2348, I'm going to call that 2.4. And our reserves 2625, I'm going to round it up to 2.7 and then round it up again to 2.8. Cost index for Ryanair is always 6. There it is. And 350 is our cruise, so we're going to have a very short cruise. Top of climb is 251. 117, stonking wind. The ISA deviation here is +12. And we can execute that and do the takeoff. We can do takeoff performance in a moment. You can see the wind skirting around and being turbulent. I am going to put our descent forecast in now. There they are. 310. 200. 100. Just saves time in the cruise. 246 at 126. 200 is 251. Glad we're not going the other way. 96, and 100 is 26154. The weather is well worth having a look at. Sigmets, severe turbulence, and London, severe mountain waves forecast, bounded by those areas, and you can have a look online. SkyVector's good at plotting those for you so you can see them. Dublin, you can see it's pretty much what we've got at the moment. Light showers, we haven't got any CBs yet. And the destination, standard 25018, is almost straight down. 30 degrees off, isn't it? 22 at Stansted. Yes, it is. So a fair old crosswind there. 30 degrees is going to give you half of that, 9 knot crosswind. And with that picking up, that, like I say, could be relatively interesting when we get there. 1010 was last reported, so we can pop that in. And the London TMA is 6000. So with 1010 we're going to expect flight level 075. And we can execute all of that. We can certainly put in the Laurel 5 Foxtrot. And we're going to expect ILS 22 via Laurel. certainly with the forecast like that, you can put that in now. It's not going to do any harm. But you know it's 2.8 here, and there is only one way to get to LIFFY, so it's going to be the LIFFY 5 alpha. But again, I'm not going to put that in until we're cleared, just to be sure. And then we can go back to takeoff performance, which I'll do after we have been cleared. We have loaded our fuel up, so we've now got 2860 each side. So we've got 5720, which I'm just scribbling down all over the OFB. And we've got scheduled takeoff time of 15:30, so it'll probably be a little bit earlier than that. So let's pop the belts on now we've finished fueling. And let's have a chat to Dublin Tower, get our clearance, and then London North, South, Centre all online. So we should have cover all the way. Tower will hand us back off to Unicom, but that's not the end of the world.
Alright, 17 cross 1634, continue hotel 1 link 4, stand 124.
Cross runway 1634, hotel 1 link 4, and stand 124, Ryanair 817. Ryanair 5 Alpha for this taxi.
Looking pretty busy.
Runner 55 Alpha, straight ahead, link 5, Papa 1, hold short 1634.
That's them behind us.
Runner 817, give way to the company, Ryanair 737-800, just taxiing ahead on link 5.
Yeah, we are visual with the company aircraft, so we'll do our best to avoid Ryanair 817.
Tower, good afternoon, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Runner 7 Delta X, good afternoon.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, 737-800, stand 122, information Juliet QNH 1006. Request departure clearance to Stansted, please.
Runner 7 Delta X, clear to Stansted, LIFFY 5 Alpha departure, runner 28, squawk 6654.
Okay, Stansted, LIFFY 5 Alpha, runway 28, squawk 6654, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Runner 7 Delta X-ray, back is correct, already position start.
Wilco, thanks, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
KLM 400, just confirm the stand you want to go to.
Good.
That will be stand 402
So,
and KLM 400, holding short 16.
let's
KLM 400, thanks, cross
get the
runner
charts up for you
1634,
guys.
Mike 1, right turn up to Foxtrot, link.
I'll just keep that quiet for a moment. There's a fair amount of airport charts worth reading. Some of the departure ones. I've got 1 Papa 5 briefing departure 1, because this one here gives you the NADAP departure, so that's worth having up. I've got that just for my own reference, so I'm not going to keep that on here. And so what do we need? We need the first one, our parking stands, and then we need our... You can have a look at the airport takeoff minimums. I suppose we could argue that you need that one before you even need the parking stands, because we need to know our minimums before we get going, although it is going to be 2.8 full length. You're not going to, there's no point doing any intersection departures there. And then we just need the LIFFY 5 Alpha. There it is. And I suppose you could argue that it's worth having the approach for 2.8 loaded up, just in case we need it. So 111.35 for the ILS. .149 for Dublin, 316. For the Oscar Echo NDB. For our departure. I suppose you could argue that we need Collinstown as well, 1112. We don't actually, but because it's direct, as you guys probably can't can't see that. There we go, it's direct to the Oscar Echo rather than using the VOR. But I've got it tuned, so 11135. I'm going to leave set that aside because we're going to have the NDB active. Yeah, no, that'll actually be confusing. So let's have the VOR. Let's have the NDB. Let's have the VOR this side. We are going to be 279. 279 outbound initially. The runway is 278. And then 096 inbound Dublin. We can put the MSAs on if we were to choose to do that. We can certainly put a 25-mile fixed ring around the Dublin VOR. As you can see there, that replicates that ring. We need 2,400, certainly in the sector that we're going to. And that's a setup nav aids wise for the departure. 9,000, 279 initially, direct to the NDB, Oscar Echo tuned, identified, Dublin tuned, identified, inbound 276 and then 096 outbound for 30 miles to LIFFY. There's the FIR boundary, and that will then be us on our way. And we've got the approach. All we have to do is set the course, which is actually already set, and then we would be inbound and ready. Good. So AppSoft is what I'm going to use for our performance calcs, and that's giving us a full rated takeoff, flap 5, with an MFRA of 1500. So there's the MFRA set. So 26k takeoff, simple as that. 26k, no D rate. So we'll be using flap 5. We are loaded, our CFG is going to give us 5.5 units required. Set. One thing I didn't do there was set the score. 6, 6. 6, 5, 4. There we go. So V speeds, I've got on the calculator 132, 134, 143. So they're all within 1 knot. We can use the FMC. 144 is set. We can pop the flight directors on. Master my side. And then we just have to put in, let's do that properly, there we go, our departure. So 25018, that'll tell us to check V speeds, but we don't need to because we have calculated them. And we know it's 1500 for the reduction and 3000 for the acceleration. Of course you would check those, but they are correct. And we've got about just over 1,000 meters stop margin at full power on this departure. So runway 28 full, it's still listed as a dry runway. It's a showers of rain. That's it. So let's get the punters sat down. Let's get the APU started up. Have a listen.
That your seatbelt is securely fastened, ready for departure.
What we can do is, I think we'll just get connected first, in case we are given something strange. Might be given a tug release point depending on what our controller feels like giving us. So the APU should just be coming online now. We can open up the APU bleed and get some conditioned air into the cabin. And we can then shut the door.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Oh.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit.
like-
Tow is driving up.
Let's get the tow connected first. Stop our view.
Dublin Tower, good afternoon. Skywise 4905 request IFR clearance to Gatwick.
Skies 495 cleared to Gatwick, Dixon 1 off departure 28, squawk 6630.
There you go, you can see tug takes a little bit of time to get to us.
Clear to Gatwick via Dex 1 off departure, squawk 6630, Skywise 495.
Skyby 495, readback is correct, call ready push and start.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Dublin Tower, good afternoon, Ryanair 225, request EFR clearance to Gatwick.
Everybody's going to Gatwick. We could have gone to Gatwick. Just thought I hadn't been to Stansted for a while.
Ryanair 225, your flight plan is telling me you are going not to Gatwick.
There we go, so just about getting lifted up. So we are ready to go.
Skyby 495, push and start verification H1 006, hectic stance.
Push and start the verification H1 006, Skyby 495.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray stand 122, request push and start.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, push and start verification H1 006, hectic Pascals.
Push and start approved, QNH1006, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So we have been cleared.
Dublin Tower, sorry for my error. Ryanair 225, request EFR clearance to Gatwick. Ryanair 225, no worries, clear to Gatwick. Dixon 1 off departure, Ryanair 28, squawk 6663. Five off, engine automatic handoff, 1,500 feet, Unicom 122 down.
Okay, so cabin is secure.
Ground to cockpit.
That'll do us.
Please show me where you want to go. Tow connected and bypass lane inserted. Release parking brakes.
63, Ryanair 225.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
So it's now 15:14, we can start the clock. It's a relatively short push. So let's get the packs off. Start engine number 2. Have a look at the oil pressure and the oil temperature, make sure they start to register. There we go. And then max motoring between 20 and 25%. 25 fuel on. So there we've got stable engine 2, 4, 6 and 3. Start engine number 1.
Dublin Tower, Ryanair 225, request push and start. Ryanair 225, there is a Ryanair, correction, there's a 737-800 behind you. I'll call you back once he's clear.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
So 25% fuel on, parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Starter cutout, valve goes off.
5495, ready for taxi.
Sky by 495, taxi Zulu, link 1, echo 1, hold short 28.
2, 4, 6 and 3, 2 stable engines. They're going to be a little bit of time disconnecting, so let's run through the first half of the flow.
Link 1 and hold short to runway 28, Sky by 495.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
So we will pause here and wait to see the pin. There is the pin, as the driver gets taken out by the baggage trucks. Flap 5.
Ryanair 225, pushing certification H1007.
Flight control check, full forward, full aft, full left, full right, full left rudder, full right rudder. Trip 5.5.
Push and start broken
Course
H1006,
checked.
Ryanair 225.
We'll go through the before taxi checks.
225, H1007.
We will set that. And then go through the check.
H1007,
Jets on, no lights, APU is off, not required, start switches both set to continuous, anti-ice not required initially, ProPizza on. Packs, air conditioning packs auto, bleeds on, isolation valve auto, flap 5 required, 5 set, green light. Stab trim 5.5 required, 5.5 set. Start levers 2 idle detent. Flight controls checked, recalls checked, and we are therefore ready to taxi. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, request taxi.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray taxi, straight ahead, link 5, Papa 1, hold short, Ryanair 1634.
Link 5, Papa 1, hold short 16, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So we are clear to the left, clear to the right, back to the front, brakes off, hello Rick. Configs checked, off we go.
Sky by 495, open short of runway 28.
Sky by 495, surface wind 250 degrees 17 knots, costing 29, running 28, clear takeoff.
Runway 28, clear for takeoff, correction, Sky by 495.
He's been hearing a lot of Ryanairs. Good, nobody's in the way, so we're going to take the second left along here. Papa 1.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, left enter 1634, hold short 28.
Left runway 16, hold short 28, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So clear to enter. So we can Set up for departure, LNAV, VNAV. Terrain on that side. So LNAV, VNAV illuminated, but in white on the PFD, so they're only armed, they're not active.
On runway 16, 3,100 feet remaining.
Skydive 4995 airborne. Skydive 495, not further than someone. That's fine. Good afternoon.
So 144, 144, flap 5, flap 5.
See the 8 is not playing.
5.5, 5.5.
Which runway is the active?
Checked.
I run it 2 8.
Got the cabin secure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
There is our hold. Right, SF Delta X-ray holding short to 8.
7 Delta X-ray service in 250 degrees 17 knots, costing 29, running 28, clear takeoff.
Clear takeoff, runway 28, right SF Delta X-ray, thanks. Configs checked again. Let's get all the lights on. Lights. Camera. Action, as you saw, we checked the trim, checked the V-speeds, checked the flap again. Check the config, there's nothing on TCAS that we can see. So we can line up, and we'll probably be about 5 minutes early. Nobody on final, so I'm
Approaching
expediting
2-8.
this.
Berlin Tower, ready for taxi right now 225. Runway 225.
Sounds like the same guy.
Zulu, link
Maybe they're brothers.
Hold short 28. Taxi to Zulu, link 1, Echo 1, holding short on runway 26.
Do a rolling takeoff, 2800 in each, 1524, 40%,
On runway 28.
correct runway, correct heading. So 40% stable, power, toga, time. Wow, that's needing quite a lot of rudder to keep the airplane straight. Forward pressure on the controls, keep the nose wheel planted and effective. 80 knots. Checked. Neutralise that forward pressure. Hand on the throttle until V1. As much rudder as you need to keep your plane straight.
V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
400.
Great fun. So, as you can see,
Wind shear, wind shear.
what a fun day.
Shear.
Come on, day, there's the thrust reduction. The airplane hasn't bugged up yet, so I'm not changing the flap setting.
No taxi, no controller, you're not 122, that's 1H, good afternoon.
Con 122 Dash mate, thanks for the service. See you again soon. Bye bye, Brian SM Delta X-ray. It's a cloud, we're above 10 degrees, so there's no icing. Bumpy as sin. Get the retracts up. Now the airplane has bugged up. See, it is all over the place. We need some sick bags in the back. So we are climbing to a flight level. There we go, we were accelerating almost to flap 1. Passing through flap 1 and still accelerating just flap up. Passing flap up. Flaps are up, no lights, all break off. Gear up and off. Start switches I'm going to leave on because we're going to enter cloud and need some icing in a moment. That's off. Aeroplane is pressurizing. I'm going to set 350. Once, twice, oops, 3 times. Go back to flying manually, shall we? That was just because I hit the trim there when I didn't mean to. Oh well, might as well try and fly it manually.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Ride it out. I think what we'll go for is just try and maintain 20 degrees. Just allow the speed to fluctuate. Didn't even have time to get the anti-ice on there, that's what happens. So there's the airplane bugging up above 10. Back onto command A. Let's get the lights off. Start switches can come back. Pumps are all on. The cabin is still secure, 4.5. Cabin's at 1.5, climbing steadily. We'll see if it settles down as we climb. I am going to go direct LIFFY. There should have been a bit of a turn there. Like that. Don't know why that's not working. Anyway, that'll do us. I think we can let the crew out now. There we go, so 15:24 we were off. 6 minutes early. Dublin, we are pretty much a beam Dublin right now. And it is 2.9. We're going to be at LIFFY at 3.3. So we've only really made 2 minutes up on the schedule. Sometimes cabin clock goes down. Ah, well Rick, that is the aeroplane not pressurizing correctly. So, you need the engine bleeds on, isolation valve auto, you need both packs on. You need the altitude for your cruise to be set, make sure it's in auto. And you want to keep an eye on this. You need positive differential pressure because that means that the cabin has got more pressure inside than outside. If the diff pressure winds down to 0, that means that the cabin altitude will climb to match whatever you are at now. So if we had a decompression now, what would happen is that differential pressure would drop to 0, start decreasing, the cabin would start increasing to 16,000 to match where we're at. And so you need to make sure that the aeroplane is pressurising. If it's not pressurising, you need to not climb above 10,000 feet and try and figure out why it's not doing it. So unless you've got a cabin controller failure, it should all work, so just make sure all of your X-plane failures are off. But that is why you do, on the after takeoff checks, you make sure the aeroplane has got some differential pressure, and then the first check is at 10,000, and if you are not climbing, if the cabin altitude is not climbing steadily, if it is shooting up and your diff pressure is decreasing, then you need to level off at 10,000 and figure out what the issue is. So yeah, if you are having issues with that, have a look. Try recording a video, we can have a look. And that's why you do a 10 check every 10,000 feet, because it is life support. I don't know if the oxygen masks are modelled, so in reality if it started getting darker and darker, then as you get hypoxic as X-Plane simulates it, so you'd really in reality want to be putting your masks on. Anyway, there's 200, so cabin's at 6.4, the diff pressure is at 6.4, the cabin is at just over 3, climbing steadily, set, and it seems to have smoothed out, so let's let the punters out. Let's have a look at top of climb and top of descent are pretty close together, so you can see that was why it was worth getting the arrival put in. We'll step through and check that. That's right, mate, you're welcome. So VNAV is oscillating a little bit in pitch, but I do think that is because of the wind. See the wind increasing, and VNAV is then pitching down. It's sort of oscillating down to match that, which you know, it's pitching down to meet it and then pitching up again just to maintain that 1 knot. Maybe it's a little bit aggressive, but you know what? I can't believe that people are going nuts about that and how disastrous it is. It really isn't a big deal. Anyway, London North 337.
240 knot.
We are almost overhead LIFFY 32, 33.
Easy 8760, flight level 160.
Send flight level 160, easy 876.
Runway 55 out, speed 240 knots, when ready, descend flight level 160.
He's busy.
55 out, negative 160. Ryanair 8 Juliet Charlie, turn right heading 220 degrees. Right heading 220 degrees, Ryanair 8 Juliet Charlie.
And a good afternoon, Ryanair 7 Delta X-Ray, passing flight level 242, climbing flight level 350 Rulav.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-Ray, London Control, hello, Laurel 5 Foxtrot, continue, climb flight level 350.
Laurel 5 Foxtrot, continue climb 350, Ryanair 7 Delta X-Ray.
Good afternoon, Ryanair 66 Romeo Whiskey, throttle 400, cockpit, safe for the late call. Ryanair 66 Romeo Whiskey, never to worry, and hello, break, November 390 Golf Mike, when ready, descend to flight level 2.
5 Foxtrot we've got.
Barmy. 260 level Barmy, 390 Golf Mike. Easy 73 Quebec Kilo, report your heading to Newcastle, radar frequency 124.375, bye-bye. Heading to Newcastle, radar 124.375, easy 73 Quebec Kilo, bye. November 747 Kilo, descend flight level 90. Super 792, Monty Unicorn 122, decimate, bye-bye. Unicorn 122, decimate, Super 792, bye-bye. Ryanair 8 Juliet Charlie, further climb if possible. Ryanair 8 Juliet Charlie, continue climb flight level 260, resume my navigation, direct gun 2. Direct gun 2 and flight level 260, thank you, Ryanair 8 Juliet Charlie. Easy 876, report your heading.
Looks like we're just heading 110.
Right at 55 Alpha, speed 230 knots. Easy 876, fly heading 360 degrees and speed 250 knots.
Speed 250 knots and heading 360 degrees at easy 876.
November 747 kilo, turn left, heading 305. Under the control, KLM 1073, BTU flight level 288 for flight level 320. KLM 1073 under control, hello, climb flight level 320, Rosen 1 Foxtrot arrival. Climb flight level 320, Rosen 1 Foxtrot arrival, KLM 1073.
So before top of climb, we're going to set a forecast arrival QNH. We'll update that as we get closer. Tower online, but there's no approach, so we'll be back to Unicom in a bit.
Eurowings 37 under control, hello. Easy 876, turn right, heading 010 degrees.
Turn right, heading 010 degrees at easy 876.
And easy 876, report that heading to Newcastle radar 124.375, bye-bye.
Report heading to Newcastle radar and on 124.375, bye-bye.
So that's the Manchester VOR 11355. We are going to be intercepting 153 outbound. And then we're going to be inbound 091 to Barquay.
November 747 kilo, turn left heading 275.
The ILS is 1105.
Right at 55 Alpha, fly heading 015. Right, Juliet Charlie, Crystal Leaf, cockpit for 1. Right, Juliet Charlie, that's approved, report back. Okay.
So above 300. Set that up. I knew I shouldn't have done that first. Last 10 check. Still climbing steadily. Airplane's pressurizing. Ooh.
Right at 55 Alpha, report that.
That's not great.
To Newcastle radar 37124.
Must be the scenery loading up. And the airplane coming to a complete stop, which is... what is that about?
7 kilo, London control. London control, good afternoon. Delta 31 Heavy is with you, climbing through 330 for 360.
It's going to get me kicked in a minute. What on earth is the SIB doing?
Roger, continue
Wow.
climb, flight level 3.
So yeah, we've just been booted off VATSIM, which is great. Thanks, Explain. I'm just not quite sure what you can do about that. Maybe it's loading up all the Manchester scenery. Look at it. Awful. Right, well, let's hope that stabilises a bit. I mean, you wouldn't mind if it was just consistently bad, but like I said, this is not Vulkan. Vulkan still crashes for me. Don't know why we still get these artifacts here, and then it just does this. It's something's definitely loading up because the CPU is going through the roof.
1,000 to go.
Not ideal. Oh, okay, so I mean, every now and then it's bad, but that seems worse. It's almost tempting to go back to 11.41 and see how I get on with that. Just can't win. Anyway, that's us at top of climb. No idea what happens with the time. I guess we're going to end up behind schedule because we've had these awful dips. -0, that's -7, but it's only -2. That adds up. Great. Just want to see if this settles down. Bring on the end of the beta. Oh yeah, the first. So every beta I have tried Vulkan at least once, and yeah, it just keeps dying. So back to OpenGL, and I'm not even sure it's any better optimized for OpenGL, because I mean those dips are bad. Anyway, that's looking a little bit more stable. Just let's see how it runs for a bit. We can have a step through the arrival. Robbie 200 isn't expected. I'll get the charts up in a moment. And then 150 at Clippy. So those expecteds are in there. Got everything all the way to the mist. Let's get back on. So, Manchester, Newcastle approach.
Sport 0, B54 and the lower goal flight.
And we got Dublin Tower. Let me through all those later. I mean, it's not too. I mean, OpenGL isn't great, but I mean, it's not terrible. You know, a decent 30 frame rates, 30 frames a second. Hey, firm. Sorry, we got disconnected. Back on now.
No worries, Roger.
Oh no! Look.
Run 8 Juliet Charlie, route direct Barbara. Route direct Barbara, run 8 Juliet Charlie.
Anyway, let's have a little plan of our arrival. We're probably, if there's nobody online, we probably won't go round Laurel. So let's just get the charts up. So Laurel 5 Foxtrot. There it is. And then there's the initial approach for 2-2 from Laurel. Then we need the ILS for 2-2. And the weather is windy, but it is not Cat 2 or Cat 3. Then we need to have a look at the airport. And one of the arrival charts is really good, 1 Papa 3, because that's got the high-speed turn-off distances. There we go.
Right, this is Delta X-ray 122 decimal. Have a nice flight, bye-bye.
1228, thanks. We're looking forward to the arrival. Right, that's 7 Delta X-ray, bye.
28747, flight level 140.
So, there's nobody else to speak to. Tower 1238. So we're going to speak to next, and then we want airport 309 and parking stands. Those are all the charts we need. So I'm just going to show you that one because I'm going to keep that open for me for my planning, but that's really useful for giving you the distances for the high-speed exits. So when we do our landing performance, we can look and see. We want to be aiming to go slightly beyond those, because obviously the auto brake is going to give us the distance to come to a complete stop. So, you know, if we had an auto brake that said 2000-ish, then that would probably be quite good for Lima Romeo to give us a little bit of exit speed, even maybe up to 2,200 or so. So I'll get rid of that once we've done our planning. See how we get on. So the first one is we can expect 200, so I'm going to set 200. Let's step through the arrival. We put the forecast winds in, so we don't have to do anything in that respect at the moment. You can see there's the aeroplane. I'm going to turn that off because we are inbound to LISTO, and then we are going to join all of these. You can see Rugby and Clippy, those were both put in. Rugby and Clippy expected. Now this little bit here we're probably not going to do, we're just going to go straight to Barkway and then straight out and in. So let's drag this down here so you can see. That's what it wants to do. Laurel at 6. But seeing as no approach is online, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that in there, but with the expectation that we are actually going to go straight there and then outbound. And to do that, we would, the difficulty we've got is taking that bit out, so you can't line select that. You could recreate that point, which is here, simply by Barkway 067/10, and then we can actually line select that in. And it might be a little bit challenging to meet that restriction in 10 miles to lose 3,000 feet. So we'll see how we get on. Bearing in mind 2.5 there, it's a little bit low and draggy. It takes us quite a long time, so we could get rid of that restriction and just aim for the 2.5 at that point and then see what it gives us. And you can test that certainly by taking that out and seeing what it gives you. 4317 is a bit less of a restriction, so that's also possible. You don't have to dive down to it, just leaving that hard altitude in. Although 6.6 as well. So 1 nautical mile from there and 2.5. So there's a tiny little level segment, which isn't the end of the world, but our frame rates are. Anyway, I'm not going to make that change just yet. Put the runway in, and we'll get the weather in a moment. We definitely have a 10-mile fixed ring. And the MSAs are, where are they from? Let's have a look on the approach. So it's just from the aerodrome reference point. There is us leaving cruise. So throttles all the way back. And it is an intermediate descent, so it's not as if we're behind and have to panic or anything. So for the MSAs, we can put in Echo Golf Sierra Sierra 25, and we're coming in from this sector. So I think we just need the 360. And that gives us the differentiation between the 2 and the 1800. And we probably want to know about that one, which is the 270. Let's see how those appear. Interesting. Don't have that distance. sure that's helped either. Never mind. We are dying. Oh, come on. Terrible. Approaching 300. So, we think we're going to burn 500 off of here. Gives us 59.7 for a landing. I'm going to round that up to 59.8 just because we're going to take that slight shortcut if we ever get there. So let's do our landing performance. For that we need the weather, and I'm just waiting to see. There is ATIS 127175, so let's listen to that. Jeez. Enjoy the slideshow, guys. This is explained by PowerPoint. 127175. About 0 frames, that's great, isn't it? Yep, disconnected again because we have come to a dead stop. And we got minus. Literally crawling. I haven't touched anything. Great. What on earth have they done? Tell you what I might do. I'm very, very tempted to try 11.41 and see if it's this bad. Might do that later where I can just... I guess I can just video it and play it back to see what the frame rates are like. Just leave it on autopilot and not worry, because obviously I only need to get up to cruise and then fly along. Terrible. I'm just trying to think if I've flown it in Beta 13. I'm sure I have. Maybe it could be ex-Europe. I know that takes something of a hit. Just literally unplayable. Well, there we go, back to normal. Yeah, maybe don't. I mean, look at it. Like I said, I mean, I could just disable everything, all the plugins and everything else, but it's very time consuming. Yeah, well, maybe you've been lucky, mate. It's just so... Anyway, if I can get this tuned. I might have to do... is going to make a brew. This is bad. I don't think I've ever had stuttering this bad. Active Sky has updated from its beta state. Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? So, you know, a nice little stable 30, I'm happy with that. So I don't think I've got any other Should be happy if we maintain a nice steady. Anyway, look at the drift. It's brilliant. 20 degrees of drift. Cruising in a jet. You know, like we are going over here. Let's see what it looks like from the outside. Nice. That's pretty epic. That goes to show just how windy it is today. Yeah, it's almost all across. So, runway 22, we need the wind, we need the weather. Echo Golf Charlie November, I'm not sure where that is. We've got ATIS online. Southern approach. Got the tower tuned in, there's no ground online. Still not picking up the voice ATIS. Anyway, it's Bravo. Bravo 1520, automatic. Runway 22, well we already knew that. Position level 75, we guessed that right. ILS wind is 25018, 10k plus. Broken 4800. Temperature 19, dew point 8, QNH 1010. Happy we've got all that. I'm going to add just a little bit of power, just so we don't get too slow. Drift is only going to get, although the wind is dying down as we get lower, so that drift would get bigger the slower we went. The great thing is if you were flying 120 knots with 110 knot to the side, that's like 55 degrees of drift. It's mad. I mean, even doing 240 with 100 degrees is going to give you a quarter, 25 degrees of drift, which is insane. Anyway, check the pressurization. The airplane is depressurizing. We are going to level off. Oh, and then we're actually going to keep going down. So 1500 clippy. So we can pop the weather in. I'm going to put the frame rate back up. So 25018. 16 knot headwind, 8 knot crosswind. It's not 15 degrees, 19 degrees. 1010. We'll look at flap 30 initially, especially with a strong crosswind. You don't really want to use flap 40 unless you absolutely have to. And we think 59.8 is going to do us. So you can see VREF add +8, and we can make everything. So flap 30, and order brake 2 is giving us 2353. which might just get us to Lima Romeo. It'll definitely stop us at Lima, which is the second high-speed exit. Don't think we need to aim for November Romeo, which is 1276. We would struggle to make that. And there we are, everything's still coming to a crawl. Really bad. I mean, the weather's redrawing, so it could be something around there. So, +8. I can't believe there was discussion on Facebook about flying VREF, not VAP, at 1,000 feet. No idea where that comes from. Anyway, 30 + 8, 142. I am going to put the correction in here as a reminder. And we'll set up for the ILS in a moment. So we are aiming for Lima Romeo. I'm just writing that down. Tower, we've got nothing else to worry about. There's an interesting bit of scenery there. Where that is. Oh, that's Silverstone, so quite distinctive. Squeeze more power, because we're getting slow again. So, approach rise, 223, yes. So, I think what I will do is there's still nobody online. We're not going to go Barkway Buster, we're going to take that out.
1,000 to go.
That's taken our top of descent a little bit further out. I think we will take it a bit further out still. We'll go 220 below at Barkway at whatever height. And that should do us. So let's set 6,000. Should be Milton Keynes out here to our left. Cranfield is the airfield down there. Punters sat down. So 1105 is going to be set my side and available on the other, but we're going to have Barkway for the mist. It's 223. Minimum's 548. Water brake 2. It's checked, we've got all the pumps on. Might be going into clouds, so we'll think about icing in a minute. And it's going to be VMC SOCA figure at 4 miles. So there's runway 22. There's 4 DME. So like I say, just tower, no ground. Keep checking the ATIS. Right now it's Delta. One 1020. It's a bit odd. So you can see that's got rid of that little bump to Laurel back, that little loop. And we'll just head all the way in. Nice continuous descent. There's our 25 MSA, 2000 in this sector. This sector is 2100 and then 1800 that side, none of which we're going below. We can set the QNH. There's the proving ground at Milford. Millbrook, not Milford, Millbrook. Very distinctive.
Luton traffic runner 47 Echo Hotel Viking.
So approaching 100, our throttles are at the high door. See how the airplane responds. Just happy to let VNAV do its thing. A little bit late. Is it going to level off and slow down? No, it's just going to plough through it. It made an attempt, it was just a little bit sluggish. Pull the lights on. Packs are sat down. Phones to silent. There we go. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of speed brake. Didn't quite manage that. Oh, and there we go, coming to a dead stop again. So we're above 10 degrees. Icing is not a problem for us now. We're doing arrivals wise. Speedbird 44 might be a similar time to us. Not this rate. Oh, Essex approach is online. Essex approach, good afternoon, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, Laurel 5 Foxtrot, passing 80, descending flight level 60.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, Essex radar, good afternoon or good evening, vectors for an IS approach runway 22, descent to altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1011.
Vectors ILS 22, descent altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 101, run, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, thank you, leave Barkway heading 060 degrees.
Barkway heading 060 degrees, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So 1011 set. Now we can do a window. We can look to see 067 outbound.
424 descent flight level 80. Descent flight level 80.
So we're going to do that. That'll at least get us turning, and then we can switch.
Thousand to go.
So that's clearly us overhead. Maybe that's a bit keen.
radar, Ryanair 412.
Satellite Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descent to altitude 3,000 feet.
1,000 to go.
Descent to altitude 3,000 feet.
Descent altitude 3,000 feet, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 412, Essex radar, good evening, landing at runway 22, Spectres are an ILS approach, route direct Barclay.
So we can set up for the mist now.
We have dock Barclay, Ryanair 412.
What? Really? 353.
Just check with Bravo Kilo Yankee.
That really is having a joke. Anyway. There we are. Inbound. It's looking quite nice. So ILS is tuned and identified. India Sierra X-ray. Match that with the chart.
Yankee, Bravo Kilo Yankee, Ryanair 412.
Ryanair 412, descent flight level 90.
Flight level 90, Ryanair 412.
Speedbird 424, leave Buster, heading 180 degrees. Leave Buster heading 180 degrees.
Pretty good. Don't know where that is.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, turn right, heading 110 degrees.
Right, heading 110 degrees, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So there we go, there's a closing leg. And we will go flap 1 match speed at this point, because we will be given a 30-degree intercept at some point soon.
Essex radar, good evening, flying to Delta Kilo, on an Echo 1 Romeo, 3,600 for 4,000.
Flight 2 Delta Kilo, Essex radar, roger, thank you. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, descent to altitude 2,500 feet.
Descent altitude 2,500 feet, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Speedbird 424, descent to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 101 at 1. Descent to altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1010, Speedbird 424. QNH 1011. QNH 1011, apologies, Speedbird 424.
So we're going to expect something like 195, there or thereabouts. I've just brought that back so we don't get too low.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, turn right, heading 180 degrees, cleared ILS approach, runway 22.
Right, heading 180 degrees, cleared ILS approach, runway 22, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Speedbird 424, turn right, maintain heading 120 degrees.
So within, there's our flap 1 limit. I'm going to make that. I'm just going to cheekily creep that on. I'm going to arm the localizer,
Flight number 80, flying to Delta Kilo.
because we are going to shoot through it.
Flight 2 Delta Kilo, actually climb flight level 160.
We have been cleared for the approach.
Flying to Delta Kilo.
The heading's probably going to be something like that.
Descent to altitude 4,000 feet. Yeah, descent to altitude 4,000 feet. Flight 2 Delta Kilo, route direct Silver.
Route direct Silver, flying to Delta Kilo.
So approaching 1 dot. We'll go
Ryanair 416.
flap 5, match speed.
Get 015, left turn.
015, right now.
And that'll get us down the glide slope nicely.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, speed 160 knots, maintain until 4 DME.
160 until 4, and we are now established ILS 22, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, thank you, contact tower 123.8, bye.
Tower 138, thanks for the service, bye bye. Stansted Tower, good afternoon, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, established ILS 22, 8 miles.
Ryanair 7 Delta
Delta X-ray, Stansted Tower, good afternoon, runway 22, clear to land, surface wind 250 degrees, 16 knots.
Clear land 22, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Bing bong. S3 exam in Palmer until 1800. Somebody's going to get stressed. So the missed approach is straight ahead, not above 3000, turn right, and it's all at 3000. We have captured the glide, so it doesn't matter, we won't out-acquire. ILS is tuned, minimum set. We're established, we've got flap 5 on the approach, and you can see the aeroplane comes down quite nicely. And we're just waiting for flat 4 miles to gear down flap 15 and start configuring, and then it's VMC. So we need to be stable in the landing configuration by 500 feet. That's the absolute minimum. And our landing configuration is flap 30 and VREF is 150. Missed approach, like I said, is straight ahead. 3 DME turn right and then inbound 353, which we have set. This side you wouldn't have that. In reality, you'd both have the ILS tuned so that the pilot monitoring could monitor it. But it's single crewed, so we've got to make the best of what we have. Anyway, approaching 4 miles. Gear down, 1670 on the glide it is, give or take. So we're on the correct glide. Flap 15, match speed. And the landing checklist, speed brake armed, auto brake set. Gear down 3 green, holding on the landing flap, start switch is continuous. Cabin secure, landing lights are on. Recalls checked, and we have been cleared to land. We're just holding on the landing flap. So there's 1,000 feet above the aerodrome.
1,000.
So it's 1,000 feet now, not off the radio. Go flap 30, 150. That's what that white bar is, and then when it turns to amber, that's 500 feet above the runway. We've been cleared. Can't see anyone about.
Approaching 2-2.
We're approaching 500, continue. So just getting back on glide. A little bit high rate of descent as long as you're not over 1,000 unless you're pre-briefed.
200.
Oh really? Awful stutter.
Minimums.
Continue.
100.
Bit high.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
That is a long landing. And a thump. Not my proudest moment. Okay, we'll go manual braking.
Welcome to Stansted, vacate second left, Lima Romeo.
80 knots.
Oh, vacating left, Lima Romeo, that was a bit of a struggle run, SM Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, taxi stand 50 via Lima Romeo, Lima and Juliet.
Gotta stay on the taxiway first. Stand 50 via Lima Romeo, Lima and Juliet, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. That was grim. It's gonna look terrible as well. Wow. Anyway, let's just get ourselves taxiing back. 52 minutes. Probably a disaster. So Juliet is second left along here. So let's get the airplane cleaned up. Easier to do that through the keyboard. in fairness, I'll have a look at, see where stand 50 is. Oh, right down the end, that's not a bit mean. I'm going to start the APU because we can single engine taxi. What's this guy doing over here? I've noticed the airports have been a bit interesting when it comes to vehicles all over the place. Don't know if anyone else has noticed that.
Tower, Speedbird 44 for the company guy left, runway 22. Speedbird 44, Stansted Tower, good afternoon, runway 22, clear to land, surface wind 250 degrees, 16 knots. Clear to land, runway 22, Speedbird 44.
So, brakes, not as warm as I thought they would be. Maybe we should have done all the brake 3 and eased it off. So, Smart Cars says that was a 304 feet per minute touchdown. ProjectFly says 292. Alright, it was a bit of a thump. It was a bit late. Landing and approach rating. Wow, I didn't think they were that good, but hey, I'll take that. We were just outside the touchdown zone and it was pretty sketchy. We seemed to be floating quite a bit at the end. Maybe that was the wind, I'll have to watch it back later. So just went for 3 minutes. I suppose we can do it just slightly before 3 minutes. Let's get the let the engines, I'll certainly let engine number 1, which we're going to shut down, stabilise, pop the APU on the bus. Like I say, not my finest approach. Penalties, none. Zibo is generous. Some of these buildings changed. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Anyway, we want Apron Charlie, which is essentially the other end of the runway. So I didn't start the stopwatch probably for a good 30 seconds, so I'm going to shut down engine number 1. Save a little bit of fuel and engine time. Thought the isolation valve would open up by itself there, but it didn't. Now, is it me, or no, the taxi signs haven't disappeared. Why has that one got loads of dots on it? Interesting. So, we'll be parking in here.
Continue approach runway 22, your number 2 to the British Airways A350, currently short final. Continue approach for Ryanair 412.
Just take the centre to ensure clearance. Oh, this definitely looks new. Sadly, that doesn't look like British Airways to me. Anyway, we're going right down to the end.
424, welcome to Stansted, vacate second left, Lima Romeo. Second left hold is in Romeo.
Anyway, we'll have a look at replay of that. Like I say, not my proudest landing.
Ryanair 412, surface wind 250 degrees 16 knots, expect late landing clearance. Expect late landing clearance, Ryanair 412. Runway checking. Ryanair 412, clear to land, runway 22. Clear to land, runway 22, Ryanair 412. Speedbird 424, taxi stand 11 via Lima and Juliet. Stand 11 via Lima and Juliet. Speedbird 424.
I think something like that will do us. Rig set on stand, an hour and 10 minutes after we left.
Ryanair 412, welcome to Stansted, vacate November Romeo, hold short of Juliet. Hold short of Juliet, Ryanair 412.
So 2 blues, 1 red. Engine's dead.
Stansted Tower, good afternoon. Ryanair 876 with Echo, Boeing 737-800, request clearance to Bougie.
Ryanair 876, Stansted Tower, good afternoon, stand by. Ryanair 412, taxi via November, hold short of Juliet. After the British Airways A350 passes right to left, taxi stand 63 via Juliet. 63 via Juliet, Ryanair 412. Ryanair 412, confirm after the British Airways A350 passes.
Anyway, that's us done. No ground power yet.
The A350 in front, Ryanair 412.
That, ladies and gents, is us. Welcome to Stansted.
Charlie with you, full established 7 miles.
Not the best park.
Ryanair 1 Delta Charlie, Stansted Tower, good afternoon, runway 22, clear to land, surface wind 250 degrees, 16 knots. Clear to land, Ryanair 1 Delta Charlie. Ryanair 876, you are cleared to destination via Nigbo 1 Romeo departure, squawk 2250.
Clear to Bougie, Nigbo 1 Romeo departure, squawk 2250.
Okay, so fuel.
Ryanair 876, correct, report
Got
ready.
1740. Just as my pen dies. 740, 1740. We've used 1.1, 1.13. Like I said, ProjectFly gave us -292. That's that one logged. And Smart Cars gave us -304. Take that. So that's that filed. Right, let's have Delta X-ray shutting down, stand 50. Thanks for the service. Have a great day.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, thanks for flying. See you again soon. Goodbye.
So, bye-bye to all of our VATSIM friends and the British Airways.
Ryanair 876, ready for
What livery is that?
Ryanair 876, push and start approved, QNH 1011.
Let me just see
1011, push and start approved, Ryanair 876.
if on the radar what they've got their livery listed as. It says BAW. Don't know how I picked that up wrong. Never mind. Anyway, there's our disconnect. Let's get the airplane shut back up. the APU is still on, and we're still on the APU. The APU is still on the bus, so let's get the replay going. Really did manage to kick the drift off there. Whoops. Like I say, not the best approach and not the best landing. And oh boy, did we struggle to make that exit. Oh. Yeah, okay, don't take that as a tutorial. Have a look from the touchdown. Well, there we go. I'll take that. Like I say, guys, that was definitely not perfect. But, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I might try and squeeze another flight in, but I think I'm going to see what 11.41 is like, so maybe I'll stream that. I don't know. I might just do the same sector just to compare. But I certainly can't be doing with those awful frame drops. So thanks for your patience. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, even if it was how not to stay on the centre line there. That was pretty poor. Blame it on a gust, it's a windy day. As always, thanks for the support. It's good to see you all, and I hope to see you all again soon. For now, it's dinner time. I hope you enjoy yours, whatever you have. I'm going to go and have mine. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, and bye-bye for now.